when your grandfather was the sheriff, were they bringing alcohol from Canada, like, up through the lakes or through the canals and stuff?
They were bringing, yes, alcohol over the border. They were bringing it up from New York City, but it was amazing to connect his stories with research because apparently there were enough barns and rural properties in that region. So the people were creating stills and brewing beer right there. So one of his best stories was being instructed by the sheriff to stake out the cemetery in Rome because bootleggers had staged what they thought was a fake funeral and buried bootleg whiskey in a coffin to be dug up later. So my grandfather, Joe, decides he's not going to stay in a cemetery all night by himself. And he ropes in his best friend, Hank Rizzuto, who sells insurance, so my grandfather with his one gun gets his buddy Hank, and they are in the cemetery cowering behind a headstone, waiting for the bootleggers to come back. And it is cold, and it is like a wintry night, pitch black, leaves rustling, wind howling. And they waited, and they waited 10, maybe 15 minutes, and they scrambled out of there, figuring if the bootleggers came for their liquor, they were welcome to it, but they weren't staying in the creepy cemetery any longer.
That is
So
funny. That's funny.
that was one of the stories that he told. And it is given a little more emphasis when you realize that his friend Hank's son, John, became the president of the fashion house Givenchy in New York. He was I guess, the US president of Givenchy America. So it's amazing how all these things connect.